What do we mean by the term mass media? If you want to be a good writer, it's helpful to know the definition of that term so that you can cater your writing to the components that make up that definition. And there are three components that make up the term mass media. The first is the idea of a mass audience, which is to say that the people who are listening to or reading or watching your media content number in the hundreds, the thousands, and maybe even the millions. They are a mass audience. And furthermore, this audience is largely anonymous, which means that the sender doesn't know the audience, and the audience doesn't know itself in most cases. People watching a television show in one city don't know the people who are watching the same television show in another city. That's the first component of mass media, the mass audience. The second component is media technology. The idea that there is a technological delivery system for the media content. And this delivery system comes in between the sender of the content and the receiver of the content. It might be helpful to think of technology as equipment, as in the case of a cell phone, or a television set, or a radio receiver. But equipment should not exclude the idea that books and magazines and other printed media are also equipment and also media technology systems. And third and finally, as a component of the definition of mass media, is the idea of standardized content, which means that when you're creating content for mass media, your content is going to be the same for the person who's reading it, listening to it, or watching it in one location as the person who is reading it, watching it, or listening to it in another location. It's the same content, which is very different from storytelling between friends, for example, or talking on the telephone and then repeating that conversation to somebody else. The content for mass media is standardized. If you know these three components, the mass audience, media technology, and standardized content, you know the definition of mass media.